The nurse in the corner. Sheila had always been a dedicated travel nurse, moving from one hospital to another, adapting to different environments like a chameleon. Montana State Hospital was just another stop in her journey, a place she had grown accustomed to during her assignments. The night shifts were usually uneventful, filled with the quiet hum of medical equipment and the occasional shuffle of nurses making their rounds. But that night was different. Her usual floor was slow, so she got pulled down to the Extended Care Unit, ECU, to lend a hand. The halls were eerily silent, the kind of silence that settles deep in your bones, making every creak of the floor sound louder than it should. At exactly 3 a.m., the call bell rang. Sheila sighed, pushing herself up from the nurse's station. The red indicator light blinked above room 4. She stepped inside and found Mary, an elderly patient, sitting up in bed, her frail hands gripping the blanket tightly. There was something in her wide, glassy eyes, something unsettling. "What's wrong?" Sheila asked gently. Mary hesitated, her lips trembling before she finally whispered, "That nurse. She keeps coming in here and just stands there, in the corner." Sheila frowned. "What nurse? Do you mean Stacy? She's right outside at the station." Mary shook her head slowly, her voice barely above a whisper. "No, not her. The other one." A chill crawled up Sheila's spine. "Mary, there's no one else on shift tonight. It's just us." Mary's hands clutched the blanket tighter. "But I keep seeing her. If she comes back, will you come check?" Sheila forced a reassuring smile. "Of course, just ring the bell, and I'll be here." She tried to brush it off as confusion or a lingering dream. After all, patients often had vivid hallucinations, especially at night. But barely 15 minutes had passed when the call bell rang again. Sheila rushed back to room 4. "Mary, I promise you, there's no one here." Mary's hand shot out, pointing toward the bathroom door. "She's in there." Sheila hesitated before stepping forward, her fingers tightening around the door handle. With one swift motion, she swung it open. Nothing. The bathroom was empty. She turned back to Mary. "See? There's no one." But the look on Mary's face made Sheila stop. The old woman wasn't convinced. Her voice quivered as she whispered, "She was just there, standing right there, watching me." Sheila exhaled, forcing down the creeping unease. "It's okay. Try to get some rest. If you need me, I'm just outside." The rest of the night passed slowly, each tick of the clock echoing in Sheila's ears. By the time her shift neared its end, she decided to check on Mary one last time before leaving. She pushed open the door and froze. Mary was lying motionless on the bathroom floor. Her lifeless eyes stared at the ceiling, frozen in fear. She was dead. 3 months passed. Sheila hadn't been back to the ECU since that night, but tonight she was assigned there again. Room 6. Different patient. Different circumstances. This time it was Mr. Howard, a polite man in his early 60s. He was fully alert. Nothing like Mary had been. The shift was peaceful, routine, until 3 a.m. The call bell rang. Sheila's stomach twisted as she walked down the hall. She stepped inside and found Mr. Howard sitting upright, his eyes darting toward the corner of the room. "Everything okay?" she asked, keeping her voice calm. His fingers fidgeted against the blanket. "You're my only nurse tonight, right?" Sheila hesitated before nodding. "Yes, just me and Stacy." His face paled. His lips parted, but for a moment, no words came out. Then finally, he whispered, "Then, who's that woman? She keeps coming in here. Just stands in the corner." Sheila's breath caught. Her heart pounded as she turned to Stacy at the nurse's station. "Do you remember Mary? Room 4? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Stacy's expression darkened. "Yeah. Why?" Sheila swallowed hard. This patient just saw the same woman. A shiver passed over Stacy's face, but she tried to hide it. "Oh God, you don't know about the incident, do you?" Sheila frowned. "What incident?" Stacy leaned in, lowering her voice. "Back in the 1990s, there was a nurse who worked here. She was overworked, exhausted. One night, she just couldn't take it anymore. They found her dead, on the bathroom floor. A cold wave of dread washed over Sheila. Stacy continued, her voice barely audible now. Over the years, patients have reported the same thing. A nurse standing in the corner, watching. Sheila's throat went dry. She turned back to Mr. Howard, whose face was drained of all color. He clutched the blanket, his voice shaking. So, it's her? Stacy let out a nervous laugh. Come on, there's no such thing as ghosts. But Sheila wasn't so sure anymore. That night, as she walked the halls, she couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't alone. Every time she passed a dark corner, every time a shadow flickered against the wall, she felt it. A presence. Watching, waiting. And deep down, she knew the truth. Mary wasn't dreaming. Neither was Mr. Howard. The nurse was still there. Hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed the story. Don't forget to comment and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already, I'll see you again with another creepy story. Until then, bye. Thanks for watching.